All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Tuesday, right? Happy Canada Day to all those who celebrate. And yeah, hope everyone's having themselves a great day, feeling sharp, feeling refreshed, recharged, and ready to go. And yeah, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's kind of get after it here a little bit, right? So, couple things. Probably expecting today to be a little bit of a slower trading day, at least on an index level. We saw that pretty aggressively there yesterday, right, on ES and NQ. We're basically for the I don't know, call it first 3 hours of the day, right? Price action didn't want to move. It didn't want to do anything besides drive people crazy. So I think we did a very good job, right, of focusing on crude oil there yesterday. And I think it might be a lot more of the same here today. Generally, any day where you have, I was going to say a market participant, but I don't think Canada is like that big of a percentage of market flow. But either way, I think anytime you have a North American holiday, you're probably expecting things to slow down here a little bit just by that standard. I also think that yesterday we kind of set the tone for the chaos around month end, right? It wasn't a very enthusiastic reaction, so that probably tells us that a lot of people are already drinking their mimosas, right, or waking up to their kids on vacation, and maybe not as much interest in sort of like the general market here. So you know, we'll see, right, where momentum shows up here today. But I would probably put my bias or my expectation that CL probably be or ends up being the most tradable here again, if tradable at all. So do want to be a little bit patient here and a little bit cautious. The I guess the volume, right, that we're going to be getting established here today or this week in general now kind of historically has like a little bit of a it just starts to decrease very dramatically from here on out. So would expect today to be pretty quiet, would expect tomorrow to be pretty quiet, and then would expect Thursday to be a snooze fest as well. Kind of historically, this alongside the Thanksgiving week, and kind of just depending on where Christmas and New Year's Day kind of shape up. Those are kind of like the three slowest days or three slowest weeks of the year from just a volume perspective or just like an implied holiday perspective. So yeah, expecting things to be slow. I'm taking the long way path to get there. And yeah, hopefully we can establish some early momentum like we did there yesterday. But if price action just wants to consolidate and be sticky and not really move, I'm also not going to force those narratives, right, or change anything there. From an economic calendar perspective, it's a little bit busier here today, right? So again, we've got 9:45 data, so that's back-to-back days. ISM should be a pretty big one here at 10 a.m. And then we kind of have that clear narrative from there. So maybe we have a little bit of a bout of volatility around that 10 a.m. period or potentially around that 9:45. But again, would expect a slower start to today's trading session with maybe, again, right, a bit of a focus on our crude oil and the likes instead of anything more specific than that. All right. A lot of ranting and raving and celebrating Canada, but enough is enough. Let's start mapping things out. Let's figure out what we want to do here at this AM, and let's have ourselves a fantastic trading day. So good morning, everybody. And yeah, let's get after it. So count here on ES, right? Yesterday's candle, so is both decreasing volume, right, by the looks of it. Not by much, but it is decreasing volume. And then it's a gap down as well, right? So we know that we have a 2 out of 3 here to the upside, Try 1 out of 3 here to the upside. So we've got an opportunity to trade this in both directions here today. Okay. The only trade a squeeze move. I'm going to say only trade after a bearish failure. So almost like if I'm expecting it to be slow, choppy, kind of like BS price action, maybe I can kind of go back to what we saw a lot happen from markets there last week, right? So last week we had, I think, 4 of the days. Effectively, we had kind of like a capitulation candle occur after like a really choppy or bouncy market. If we could get that capitulation candle, right, and then we have that low volume environment, that then at least creates a scenario where we could get a pretty quick move relative to the general market conditions, or we could expect some follow through. Basically, I want to see the other side fail, right, before I take the trade. So getting a confirmation isn't enough. I almost need to apply like a second confirmation here today, just to make sure that I'm not getting chopped to pieces, right, by whatever price action is available to me. We're looking at a 62, I think 62.60 is a reasonable level. Pre-market high is 62.60. I'm not going to change any levels there to the upside. And then to the downside here, pre-market low is 62.28, so call it 62.30. We'll go 62.20, right? That's yesterday's low. And that's if we can get under 62. Even if we like think back to our CL trade that we had yesterday, right? We took 2 attempts there to the upside. Both of those opportunities failed, and then it was our reversal lower that ended up paying us quite a bit. So we did see that bullish failure first, and then we got that downside action. I certainly would not be opposed to seeing that again across the board, and just almost like opening up a clear path, right, for price to go into. Otherwise, I feel like this is just such a textbook trap day. Yeah, I just want to be really careful here this morning. And I think that's the narrative for the week in general, right? Like the last 2 years, this has been a week I take off historically. So just want to be very, very patient, right? Again, don't expect it to be crazy. And I'm saying this so I don't get tunnel vision, right? So I don't overtrade shitty price action. So I don't like talk myself into something that's there. I need to be proven wrong here this morning. And I want to be specific in defining what that looks like so that I have no doubt, right? So I'm trying to make what being wrong looks like clear to myself, right, to a certain extent. And what I mean by being wrong, as in my base expectation is that it's going to be a non-trading day. So I want to see or really define, right, what a trading day would actually look like, or what would need to happen for it to look like one. And the more specific I can be there, easier it is for me to protect my mental capital and avoid kind of dumb or obvious mistakes. So to the upside here, we're looking at a 22.9 would be the starting point. And it's the same thing. We're only going to be looking after bearish failure. And we're looking 22.7. That'll probably be taken care of by our opening range. All right, that's plenty of space. All right, CL. Continues to consolidate here. Doesn't want to break down through that 64. We had a nice tradable range with it there yesterday. Really weak volume, so it is consolidating. It is going to give us a pretty big pop at some point. So red candle decreasing volume, gap up. And so 1 for 3 here to the downside. The without volume moniker is not required, but again, I'm just reminding myself, right, that there isn't that much enthusiasm there. Yesterday appears to have been the lowest volume day of the year. By a mile, actually. So, yeah, it's definitely in consolidation mode, right? We'd like to see that breakout occur at some point. Nothing needs to change, truth be told, right? Because we still haven't broken out from these ranges, and that's the same element we mapped out there yesterday. So I'll probably expect CL to maybe give us the most tradable, ironically. But yeah, let's see if it can go. Okay, Apple, 3 for 3. Microsoft, 1 for 3. And we're just going to fire through these, right? Tesla, big gap down. Interesting. This is a textbook mean reversion setup. And Amazon, higher high, higher low, decreasing volume, gap up. So 1 for 3. NVIDIA, 2 for 3 to the downside without volume. AMD, 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. Again, setting up as a mean reversion look. All right, Meta, higher high, higher low, decreasing volume, gap down, 2 out of 3 without volume. Morning, Donald. Yeah, so we talked about that at the start of the session. We've got data here at 9:45 and then data here at 10. I would imagine that if we are going to get a trending session, it's going to be, I don't know if this would necessarily be the catalyst, but the move would happen after these occur. So it's going to be a slow start to the day for sure. And then we can figure it out after that. All right, Netflix, green candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So again, right, 1 for 3 here. And then Google, 175. And this is a 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. And then the old Vixaruni, 17.27. So implied range of about 1%, right? Not much more aggressive than that. And let's see, let's see how the day shapes up. So market is open. We are in play, and let's see how the day goes. How's everyone feeling? Love it, Mike. Love it. All right, guys, I'm just gonna go fill up my cup of coffee. I'll be right back. 1 sec. So why is Google 2 out of 3 without volume? So yesterday on the daily time frame, we had a red candle, right? So that's the downside. We had decreasing volume, and then we had a gap down. So yesterday's gap down yesterday's price action and today's gap down are telling us the same story. The missing ingredient that is telling us strong bears is the volume profile. So we've got 2 out of 3 ingredients of strong trending price action, and the missing one is volume. Oh, Jen, thank you so much for posting the for the CME, or sorry, the CL data on my funded futures. Much appreciated for posting that solution. Tesla going mean reversion, not yet a ton, but very small opening range, right? This 5-minute is very tiny. Same thing there on ES. I mean, for a while there, for me, it was top step. After yesterday's unfortunate change, that's probably no longer the case. I think Tradeify is okay. Their payout speed is quick. I don't like their daily drawdown. Or sorry, their trailing drawdown. I wish it was end of day balanced. And I think my funded futures probably creeping up to be a pretty good option here. A lot of people have had a lot of success with Take Profit Trader, TPT. All right, so not a big range there, pretty small. I mean, 28 points on NQ is pretty much nothing. Even 10 cents on CL was very tight. Top Step is honestly, it's smart from their perspective, right? They've developed their own like trading software for prop firms, right? Which is Project X. Oh, I don't trade those gold futures, Sonia. I don't. If you want to check out any specific names here inside the watch list, you can just go into the FAQ section, and if you just click my watch list, you'll get this exact same list of names. So yeah, Top Step is transitioning to only offering their internal platform, right, for their prop firms, which is Project X, which is their Top Step X platform. I imagine they pay some sort of licensing agreement or something along those lines to Tradeovate to access their service. And yeah, they're stopping that, right, and going all internal, and probably trying to improve their profit margins. So I understand that. It's not a big deal. Like, I think it doesn't really change things too much. But I do personally enjoy trading through Trade of 8. That is my preferred execution. So yeah, if you have an active account, they'll swap you over to their Top Step X platform, and it's fantastic. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it. I just like the way Trading Views looks. So, I mean, I think we nailed the assessment here for the session. I think most people focus on adding more accounts than going to live, truth be told. Like, I think that the push that you should be going for as a trader is to use these prop firms to get as much leverage as you possibly can. It's very rare that you have opportunities where you can get extreme leverage with no downside risk, or very, very limited downside risk. So I think the value is getting as basically as much leverage as you can, making your first 100, 200 to 300K, and using that money to basically funding a personal account, and then not having to worry about prop firms. So I think prop firms are a really good tool to create your proof of concept, and to prove that you can do it, and to basically make your learning curve a little bit more professional. But I there's a lot of bullshit with them. um, and so yeah, I think it's better to get more accounts than to push for live. That makes sense. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's to a certain extent, trading with prop firms is like a really good form of risk management, right? So let's just say I've got 9 accounts right now. Let's say the average account is like maybe $300 to activate and pass. Let's say a little bit more. Let's say $500 total. So I'm risking $4,500 at most trading all this capital. So $4,500 as total risk is fantastic, right? So like I can't really beat that. So it's like having a stop loss where, worst case scenario, right, this is all I lose. That's a pretty powerful number. I actually don't know if anyone trades live here. I think the traders that are doing very, very well tend to raid and pillage other prop firms. Hey, good morning, Rusty. So I think, again, I think that there's more value in getting more leverage than trading live. The trading live, quote unquote, perk, I don't see it as that. I don't see it as an extra benefit. Maybe if you got like daily payouts and you were trading live, that makes some sense. That's a pretty good perk to get. Yeah, you'd prefer to be able to trade live with your own personal account because there's much better tax advantages. Anyway, we're getting off topic a little bit here. Um, I have mixed feelings about Apex. Truth be told, with you, Doug, I feel like Apex is really good if you can just like so neatly fall into their framework of rules. But I think that they fight you tooth and nail to give you a payout. So yeah, that scares me, because they almost have like a little bit of a uh accepted culture where they're willing to decline people's payouts for whatever reason. They don't fail you, they make you jump through more hoops. So I would generally feel like it's the most complicated of the companies to get paid out from, and the longest payout process. But they have a good track record of making big payouts. And if you can gamify their system and go through their bullshit, there's the potential to get a bigger win there. Yeah, I think that's a little bit what it is, right? It's they make a big payout and then they need to protect themselves from other ones. And they like doing the big payout because it's like, ooh, this looks fancy, this looks good. And then yeah, they kind of fuck over some, just like asking for information, right? And really forcing things to slow down. Again, I'm gonna be very patient here with NQ and ES in general, right? We're not going to get outlier volume here. I'd be surprised. We also have data dropping in 15 seconds. Yeah, Doug. Yeah, exactly. Like they make you really go through the hoops, right? Uh, I think with these prop firms, your biggest risk isn't losing them, right? It's not getting paid. So, or not getting paid on time. So you want to go with the company that just pays you as quickly or as soon as you request it without making you dance for your money. No, I mean, if you have to film them, film up a little strategy or whatever, there's a lot of ways to do it. We've helped people do it in the past and then they get their payouts. But yeah, they just make you dance for it. Apex does sometimes. Yeah, TPT seems to be a pretty popular choice these days. I think Kiki, I don't know if you're in here right now. I think that's the one you use, right? You use Take Profit Trader and their daily payouts. I mean, I might be imposing that on her, but I think that's the truth. Yeah, I'm not going to place any trades until 10 a.m. anyway. Well, I don't think that there's like an objective best one, Jerry. I think that there's pros and cons to each company. Um, I would say that probably the top three right now in no specific order is still Yeah, I would say it's probably My Funded Futures, Top Step, and Tradeify. Right, I think all three of those are very, very reasonable. So I think all three are fine. I wish that Top Step wasn't choosing to go all internal with their platforms, but Top Step X still isn't bad. Look at the volume on ES, by the way, guys. Like, holy smokes. Yeah, let's take a look here. I might be more interested on the 5 min if I can get something. I know we had a little bit of success. I don't have that bullish failure here yet. Maybe I don't need it on CL. This could be interesting. Yeah, I've had no complaints with Tradeify. I want to try take profit trader here at some point now too. Might close up my Top Step. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, I know the trailing drawdown's a freaking pain in the ass. Oh yeah, I mean Rusty, I think Apex is fantastic once you learn how to gamify it, right? So once you learn how to gamify it and you go through some of that like bullshit, Apex is awesome. But I think it's like I think it's probably the hardest one to get a payout on because of those factors. And once you get that sorted out, right, or you go through that process, then the leverage you get is unbelievable. Absolutely. Okay, so a decent volume profile here. And I'd still like to kind of see one side fail. Maybe a bit more of an obvious failure there to the downside on NQ, but not a confirmation setup here. Right, it closed inside the opening range, not outside. ES, not enough volume. So again, I'm still going to be very, very patient. Yeah, like and I don't think that like, exactly what Mike is saying. None of these companies are perfect, and none of them are like the best. Or there's not one that's the best. They're all variants of good, and they all have pros and cons, and they all have their own little quirks and all their own little personalities. So getting comfortable trusting those, I wouldn't say is a big deal. Yeah, it's kind of given us a possible opportunity here. Main issue though with this NQ, right, is I've got data at 10 a.m. Now, 9 minutes is still a decent amount of headroom. But I'm expecting a slow moving market. I'm going to wait, guys. I am going to wait. Yeah, that becomes like a little bit of you have to do like mental gymnastics, right, to figure it all out sometimes. Again, that's why I think like the objective is to basically make enough money so that you can trade 1/10 of the size in a personal account and not have to deal with any of the bullshit. All right, so good decision on that too. Let's go, Mike. Congratulations. Well, I'm not going to say that personal account trading is the only way to learn, the only way to trade, because when I first started to trade, right, Mark, I didn't have a personal account. I was like always just working with institutional money, and what I think it allowed me to do is it did allow me to focus on trying to play the game, right, and like starting to kind of figure out that balance between art and science instead of having to focus like too much on the P&L swings. Well, it'll be dependent on margin requirements, right, for your specific brokerage. Yeah, OPM, I like that. That's a good acronym. So I think, there's a really steep learning curve, and with that steep learning curve with trading, it's really easy to lose, right? And I think yeah, for most people, you're going to lose 20 times less money learning how to trade via a prop firm than if you would trading with your own capital. And because you lose so much less, it actually allows you to elongate your survival curve, right? So you can survive more mistakes and still remain in the game, which buys you time, right, to figure out how to trade properly. Sometimes with personal capital, what I see happen a lot with traders is they make a mistake, the number hurts too much, and then they have no choice but to give up and to quit. Prop firms kind of change that equation. So they buy you that time, but just because they buy you that time doesn't mean that everyone chooses to use it seriously. Some people still choose to be to gamble with them or to go YOLO, whatever you want to call it. And so at that point, they get into loops too. So there's pros and cons, but I always think that the opportunity to lose less while you learning is always good. So again, we didn't really miss out on much. So Doug, when I went out solo, kind of like before props were a big thing, I went 50K in my account and then 50K as backup. That's what I did as my start for my personal account. So kind of a nothing open here so far. Oh. Ooh. Well, yeah, a great spot for a mean reversion look. Yeah, very, very slow, boring open. Fuck you, candles. Um, a bit of a reaction. Nothing too crazy. Sometimes I sit here and I can't help but think of conspiracy theories, and the one that's been rattling around in my brain here recently is that TradingView doesn't show every tick. um, that they're maybe buying like the cheapo data, or they're licensing the cheapo data. Sometimes I worry about that. And there's also, I mean, I don't think I'm going to go buy a Bloomberg terminal. It's maybe a little bit overkill for my setup, but I don't know. It does sometimes feel like the price action is herky jerky instead of it being super smooth. Again, it doesn't change anything, but I think in maybe it's like I don't know if this is the analogy here. But it's like having a TV or a monitor that's like 60 frames per second versus 120 frames per second. I wonder if there's something in that, but we need to get over high of day here at this point, because my target would then have to be that 65, 62, 10 cents. I'm not going to get the risk reward ratio to justify it here. Right. So yeah, great volume, but it needs to get over that 65, 62, that fake out high, because otherwise that's my target. Right. So just from an execution perspective, it's super unlikely. So we're kind of waiting for price action. Like we're almost willing to call the opening range here this morning to basically be this and this. right? This and this, and then like this and this. So if we're basing it off of that, right, or we're kind of mapping it out, kind of looks a little bit more uh how do you call it? Like it's a green to red type fake out. So if we were to go into the opening range logic, right, we would kind of say that there's the three stages, right? The compression, expansion, the regression. Here's the compression, right? And then the regression is back down towards these blue lows. And then if you can get that expansion through that line, that's where you can get that kind of compression state or that breakout state. Oh, no, we're just saying these are consolidation zones, right? So now we need to see breakouts over that blue line higher or blue line lower, right? We've seen the market effectively consolidate inside those zones. So we'd like to see a separation away from that range to indicate that we have trending price action. Right. So it's just the morning high, the morning low. And we're looking for separation. So maybe we have a chance here on CL. It'll be close from a volume perspective. Let's see if we can get there. We have a chance. Ooh, sneaky close. All right. So did hold under. We could theoretically use the aggressive entry technique. So that would be stop loss of 65.35. If it pulls back much more, we can't. So it'd have to be the pullback technique with entry above 65.40. So we have to look for the pullback technique here. I'm going to be very patient watching this thing pull back though, team, right? We're looking for a short, stop loss 47. So I'm looking at like 5 or 6 contracts, right? I'm in that range. Rico, I'll get to your question in a sec, but I need to focus on crude here for now. And just watch the spread here. I've seen it as wide as 2 cents. That's a little bit punchier. Just make sure it's tight. Otherwise, you're subjecting yourself to some potential slippage. you just watch the difference between the buy price and the sell price, right? So the difference between that should be a cent, a couple ticks, whatever it is, right? So the spread is the difference between the buy price and the sell price. Okay, inside bar doesn't kill me here yet. Still no entry. Just be patient here, team. Be patient. Might have missed it. Let's see. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm not super worried about that, to be honest with you, Igor. Biggest concern is we just don't get any consistent follow through here. I'm not sure if I've quite felt as if the entry timing here is correct yet. And that's what I'm trying to fight through here a little bit. Yesterday, my entries were just a little bit early. So I'm trying to basically buy time for this to fake me out, because I think that that's the objective. The take profit on this trade would be 65.15, the white line here at the bottom. Okay, yeah, good call to have waited, guys. That would have just stopped us out. Something about that movement wasn't feeling healthy, wasn't feeling right. Interesting. Appreciate that. This could be now our little fake out spot. So you have to go 48 as a stop loss. Increasing volume. We know a lot of that volume is going to be on the fake out. Hmm. All right, now we maybe fake and go. Yeah, well, this is just the characteristical type price action of the 4th of July week, right? Like last year, I took this week off. This year, for the reason I didn't think that far ahead. Shame. Maybe NQ will give us that green to red breakout here. Sorry, chop to green breakout here. It'll be close. Got to get over that 835, so 8 cents to go. Oh. So again, I'm not going to hold myself against this, right? Because it would have faked me out had I taken this trade. So I can't be bitter here. Probably target 65. I want to be aggressive. See where this reference price ends up going. Kind of want to see this. Whoops. You want to see this act as your area of support now for a downside move. Yeah, NQ's broken out of its range. Maybe we have an opportunity to play this on the 10-min. Or if we can get an increasing vol signal here on one of the shorter time frames, could also be in play. CL is still technically tradable. Be 10-cent stop. Stop would have to be 45. Yeah, those gap fill trades are looking pretty sharp. Show me some strength here. Yeah, ES maybe is the best look in here. You'd be targeting 62.60. Wrong close. All right, so immediately we know that we're looking for the aggressive entry technique. Let's see where it finds support. Don't want it pulling back too far. Okay, so you'd be looking at a 250 stop loss probably. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Instantly. I have a fuck you again, right? So far, it's a day where we're avoiding mistakes, not making money. That's part of it sometimes. Interesting. um, I think probably I'd prefer to play the fake out. All right, so I'm watching NQ here to the downside. Stop loss of 827. Okay, guys, I am in 22, 818.50, two contracts. Stop loss 827. Oh, fuck me. And so far, so good here, team. So far, so good. So let's see if this thing can keep breaking down, keep pushing. There it goes. All right, and this thing is really rocking and rolling here, guys. So pretty much a perfect entry, 0 time and drawdown. That patience was worth it. Let's see if this thing can keep breaking. Don't like this pullback. Don't chase. If it's strong, it'll give you another chance to enter. Don't chase. But theoretically, anywhere above 805 was still a good entry. You just needed to go one contract at that price. All right, so we want to see it holding under this blue line now. That's kind of our target. Okay, so we can keep going here. We definitely have the right read. Strong volume. See if it closes with some strength as well. Not the best close here. Fake out above high of day on increasing outlier volume. So it's this bullish failure thesis, right? Paired then with the volume reversal or the high volume reversal. So we saw the bullish move fail on the 3-min time frame, right? We saw that give us a confirmation, that confirmation fail, and then ended up being right a breakdown there on the 5 or the reversal on the 5. So not a perfect candle, didn't hold through my level that I wanted to see. So let's see if we can still get a little bit of a baby flush here. I have 2 out of 3 elements, so I could definitely talk myself still into holding, but I don't like that it, well, we waited for a super deep pullback, right? That's why. So like yesterday, the big trade of the day, I had 2 cents of risk on. And the reason that trade moved well is it's either going to get stopped out right away or it's going to be green right away. Kind of applied the same logic here on this entry. Like my risk is 9 points here. 9 points on NQ is very, very small. Okay, so we're watching here, team, watching here. That's 16. So let's see if this can keep breaking down. 18. And again, one last decent flush here, guys. We can go. If you missed the entry right at 818, anywhere inside this risk reward zone was still a good entry. So you could have gone in at 810, you could have gotten in at 815, could have gotten in at either one of those prices. You just needed to have gone one contract and not 2. All right. So anywhere, right? So the reason we draw out this risk reward zone is anywhere between this green line and this red line is a good entry. And as long as that's less than 25 points, you're good to go. Okay, guys, so this is obviously a fantastic trade here. I'm going to look to be getting out in a second. Nice work, JS. Here we go. Come on, baby. So again, things might be slow. Just means we have to be picky, right? We have to be very, very picky with our trades. I think we did a great job of that here today. Maybe a bit aggressive to do a victory lap right now. Yeah, correct. You need to click sell. It's a sell order. Nice work, Jamie. Hey, $500 is a great day. All right, come on. Give me that next leg here. There it goes, team. There it goes. 25. No, I'm being patient with the pyramids here because I have a love hate relationship with them. I can get a little bit too aggressive, and I don't want to do that right now. Not the market to be super aggressive in. That's freaking awesome, John. Congratulations. Biggest green day ever. You should celebrate it, man. That's fantastic. Just about 40 seconds left on this candle. I'm close. Okay, take profit on this trade would have been 736. So next time you set it, Sean, right? Set it as that white line, the price of that white line. Nice work, Eric. Let's go. Okay, so not the best looking candle close. Good volume, still held lower lows. Just a bit of a shitty shape. Again, I should have no reason to want to panic close this trade or to get out of it yet. I do just wish the candle was a little bit stronger. Nice work, Sean. Hell of a day. Congratulations. And yeah, it's a good reminder, right, that our best trades kind of go in our direction right away. And those moves happen pretty quick. Come on. I believe in you, NQ. Like this was a pretty close to zero stress trade, right? I love that for me. All right. Let's even keep pushing. Come on, baby. No worries, Pascal. Next time, yeah, set your take profit to be that 736 or that white line, and you'll hold on to trades. If you want to get out, you can always get out earlier. Don't do this to me. Nice work, Kiki. I'm trying to trust this as best as I can. If it closes above that blue line, I will get out as well. Fair play. Congratulations. And keep pushing here. Appreciate that, Jack. Again, candlesticks are keeping me in the game here, right? My candlesticks are keeping me in the game. So let's see if this thing can now flush through 50. There it goes. Watch, watch, watch. Come on, you're so close. Push. Come on, come on. Oh, so close. Okay, watching here very closely, team. This is almost it. Come on, one more flush. Oh no, I might have just missed it. Come on, one more flush. Come on, here it goes, here it goes, here it goes. All right, guys, I am out. Let's go. 32.40. Let's go. One hell of a trade, team. Nice work. Let's go. Closed it at take profit. 736.75 was my exit price, actually. Perfect exit. Hell of a day, team. Let's go. Fantastic, right? Fantastic trade. Really good patience here. And it was patience just waiting for the market to give us that tradable range, right? So we identified basically the fake out highs and lows, right? The initial morning highs, initial morning lows outside of the opening range. Got a significant fake out above that on volume, and then it broke down here significantly, and we were absolutely able to crush that trade, right? So 1 for 1 day here, pretty much bottom ticked it by the looks of it here too. Maybe could have gotten 3 or 4 more points. But that's, I mean, as close to a textbook trade as we can get, right? That was pretty much perfect. So pretty stoked with that. That was a great Tuesday. Let's go, team. Let's go. Have one green. Yeah, like your second entry would have been like 788, right? Would have been in that range or above. Between, say, we'll call it like 790 and 800. That would have been your other reasonable entry on this signal. I mean, on this one here too, you still have increasing outlier volume. I think reasonably you could have been able to trade this as well to the downside, but the volatility on this probably would have gotten a bit extreme. So volume wise, yeah, there definitely were secondary entries, but they would have required much wider stop losses and smaller moves. And okay, maybe now we're being told we should have held on, but I'm fine with where I closed. Again, right? Like we had the if you missed the 718, you had this range in between, right? Between this green line and this red line, just to get rid of this, right? And get rid of this line. So my entry was 818. Anywhere here, anywhere inside that green box would have still been a really, really good entry. The 775 breakdown, yeah, it's fine. I think realistically, your risk reward on that probably would have been a little bit challenging. Depends on where you had your stop loss, Doug. But it was the move of the day. So you identified the momentum, you traded it well. I think probably you could have just refined the way that you managed your risk on that position. But yeah, the best entry would have been anywhere inside this green box, even though I got 818, anywhere even between there and 804 still would have been a reasonable entry. Just again, would have had to been a one contract play. But I want to understand the logic of this position or why we traded it. I want to understand the thesis here. Yeah, no worries, Nick. And it is one of those where the market honestly moved so quick, right? We were green instantly and green right away. So I understand the desire to not chase. So the setup thesis here was just the low vol fake out, the bullish failure of the opening range breakout. So here was our opening range, right? Here's our opening range, the green box. And then this candle, right, was our fake out above that opening range high, the failed move, and then a reversal back here to the downside. I was risking $360 on that trade. I had about 9 points of risk with two contracts, so $180 a contract approximately. So 360 bucks total, 180 a contract. Okay, I mean that's reasonable risk reward then, Doug. Right, you're risking 10 points, right? That's fine. So yeah, I actually don't have that much negative to say about it. I'm not sure what time frame you traded that on, but maybe the stop loss for me would have been 797, kind of in that range. Yeah, good day, team. Good day. Feels good. It's nice to be able to chill on Canada Day. You mean earlier on here? So like at 10:20, Jamie, or do you mean a little bit later on? Yeah, absolutely, Deb. Absolutely. Yeah, it was on the 5 min. This was a 5 min trade. Appreciate that, Brady. That's 20 green days in a row here now, so no complaints. All good, Jamie. No worries. Yeah, it's just a general recommendation. If you take a trade on one time frame, just stick to that time frame. Multi time frame analysis, all it really does is it gives you confirmation bias, right? So if you're like a little bit nervous or you're happy with your P&L, you're gonna find reasons to get out, right, and take your win. If you're like you don't like the trade is not behaving well, you're going to find the first little signal to get out and you're going to close it. So you're actually going to go against your thesis by like over correcting to new and incomplete information. So I'm not really a big believer in multi time frame analysis. Appreciate that, Doug. Yeah, been two good days here so far. Glad we've been able to make some money. It's been more profitable than I expected this week, or better move than I expected here so far this week. So it's been a happy surprise. Or Pascal, you just trade with us for a couple months and then you don't have to find a job. Trade for 90 minutes a day. It's Again, this is like uh, a deep dive into my life, I guess. But I've been so competitive here with myself about tracking my sleeping recently, and like trying to look, a 420 risk versus 380, no big deal, right? You're still within that $500 max loss. So I've got zero issues with your entry price. Yeah, I hear that, Pascal. You traded with us today, right? You traded with us today. So yeah, you did a good job, Ghost. Did a good job. And getting a little bit more than 2 times your risk, that's awesome, right? That's a very, very sustainable strategy. Now you want to get those opportunities, right? Where you get, like today, we got approximately 10 times our risk, right? Those are the trades that give you the buffer and really allow you to be able to grow aggressively. So I'd love to see everyone kind of build up to that level of tolerance and just being able to trust their plan. But it's a step-by-step thing, right? And you're a profitable trader because you're closing trades before the market turns against you. So don't ever feel like you missed a move, because it's better to close before than it is to switch. So I like micros because of that flexibility. I would say it really depends on what your account size is, Doug, how big of an account you're trading with. If it's a smaller account, then yeah, micros are gonna be a game changer. If it's a big account, I think that it's a good way of, we'll call it like creating that proof of concept without necessarily a tremendous amount of psychological pressure, which I think also remains positive. Really what you want to find, and maybe micros make this easier for you, is you want to find that point with your position sizing where you're not bothered basically by the move, right? Or like you have fun trading it, but it's not like such a dopamine thrill and such a dopamine rush that like you have to constantly be feeling something. So micros will oftentimes allow people to find that number better. And once you're trading in that like zone of your like your position sizing sweet spot, right, which is unique to you and unique to each individual, you're not going to get as emotional. And because you're not as emotional, you're going to be able to catch more of the full trade, which will make you more money, right? So it very often is a bit of a paradox here sometimes with trading, but sizing down actually can oftentimes lead you to making more money. Yeah, hey, making 2 times your risk, that's a fantastic day regardless of how you look at it. And yeah, maybe we should have held this on for a little bit longer here today. An extra 40 points got out of it, but I'll take it. Again, I closed at my profit target, right? Like that's the reason I closed. Trade came to completion. And the idea here is that before I'm entering my first trade, right, I'm planning my second trade. So that's why I box in, right, my position. So when I box it in, right, before I ever find my entry price, which I know I want to be above that 806, I'm identifying my second trade first, right? So my second trade is either my stop loss, which is, in this case was 827, or it's my take profit, which is 738. And so this fib scale is just a customized one I use. And it's just the 0, the 1, and the 236 fib lines. Everything else is removed. And what this does is it shows me my risk reward ratio. Yeah, I mean, look, Ghost, I would recommend walking away and enjoying the rest of your day, right? There's little value, or there's like turning that into like $1,000 day. It's going to feel, for the risk reward, right, of trying to turn it into $1,000 plus versus seeing it turn into 500, you're going to feel disproportionately worse seeing it become 500 than you are to see it feel good if it hits like 1,200 or something, right? So I would enjoy the session. I wouldn't force anything. And yeah, go live your life, right? Optimize for freedom, not for P&L. 900 bucks a day is a pretty fantastic result regardless. So I wouldn't force that. You know what? I missed trading NQ. You know, didn't trade her yesterday. Was neglecting my true love. I absolutely love this ticker. When we do our inevitable DTR meetup, I'm gonna have to get like a few cocktails in me in Vegas somewhere and go get an NQ opening range breakout chart tattooed on my ass. Oh, it's the best, Doug. It's the best. So, sorry, John. Sorry to put that image in your mind. Sorry. Yeah, and we did a really good job focusing on NQ versus ES. Like the volume difference here, right on the reversal candle, much stronger, right? So we did a good job there identifying the kind of the best moving ticker of the day. I think back to back sessions, we've done that very well. Yeah, I'm stoked. Team, that was a great day. Absolute blast here today. Huh. Hey, it sounds like a good deal, Doug. We'll both add something for life. Yeah, it's such a good feeling when a plan comes together. Like, I mean, how can you not get romantic about trading? Again, we left quite a lot of money on the table here. Probably 2,000 bucks, maybe in that range. Maybe a bit less, maybe like 1,500. Still a lot, but I shouldn't complain. Life is good. But no, I was saying, right? I've been getting very competitive with myself about my sleep score. Because every seems like the days where my sleep score is like 90 plus, those are my big trade days. So I like that correlation quite a lot. All right, team. So any other questions here? I'm not going to do anything else this afternoon. I'm pretty happy with the day. Pretty epic session, honestly. So time to just do the journal, right? And today's July 1st. Oh my God, where's the summer going? So today here, July 1st, green trade, 32.40. All right, so 5 min. Hey, sounds good, Sean. Sounds good. Deal. One step at a time. No, I'm not really a big trailing stop loss fan, Sean. So what I've kind of found inside my own trading data is that I make a lot more money just closing my trade as my P&L is increasing. Kind of like philosophically, if I'm willing to get stopped out at a lower price, why am I not willing to accept the higher price? So from my personal experience, I make less money using trailing stop losses. On the rare occasion where you do get this like mega all day follow through, for sure, um, I'm leaving some money on the table in those scenarios. But over the course of a couple hundred trades, I wouldn't be. Where the heck did I put it? What? It's so weird. It just disappeared on me. All right. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to go into the live stream link tab, all the last live streams, probably the last like 1,500 live streams are all posted there. So you can go back in and rewatch that. JS, if you want to get the detailed fib settings, there's a video inside the trading docs. It's called Finding Your Formula for Profitable Trading. It'll show you how to set this up in detail and how to use it. Let me fill in my trading journal before I forget some of these key details. Just bear with me here for a second. Running the calculator. So 81 3/4 points, pretty good day. And then the return on risk here today, a fantastic effort. 9-to-1 return on risk. Let's go. Well, personally, Brady, kind of like I mentioned, right? I make more money closing my entire position instead of taking partials off and then closing. So based on my data and my trading style, yes, right. I think you probably missed out on a good amount of some P&L here today. But based on your trading style and your technique, I can't quite answer that question. So I just don't have the information I need, right? Or enough of the data. But yeah, I'm more of a believer in all in, all out versus dipping my toe in the water. Yes, there should be a bunch of videos there. Really, the idea, Pascal, is figuring out what your max daily loss is, and then working backwards to figure that out. Right. So I like to keep my max loss per trade to be about $500 or less, and so then from there, it's just about doing a little bit of simple math to determine that number. If you go into the trading docs or the how to trade with DTR tab, there'll be multiple videos there on that topic. Okay. So now we want to map this trade out, and we'll go like, look like this. Okay. 1850. All right. So really, right, like the reason why I want to make this journal so detailed is the idea here is that when I go back and I want to look at this trade, I want to know exactly why I did something and all the information I needed, right? So if I am lazy with how I'm putting together this information, or I'm not putting detailed notes or giving myself a detailed recap of why I made this decision, when I look back at this in 6 months' time or 6 weeks' time, and basically apply my goldfish brain memory to it, then at least I'll be able to know, right, what I did, why I did it, and why this trade was strong. If I'm losing details or skipping details or being lazy with those details, then all I'm doing is cheating myself of my future gains. So if you want to be a serious trader, you start by being serious at journaling and serious in studying your trades. And the more data that you can create for yourself, the better things are going to go, right? So, yeah, if you're going to be lazy about your journal, you're going to be very lazy about your P&L, and you're not going to see the results that you want. I think that this journal makes it very clear over what you should be tracking and the elements that are important. And if we're not at least tracking what we could have done better for each of those um, uh, points, then we're not committed or serious about improving as traders. Yeah, why do I need anything more serious than this? So what I do here is I make my journal here on Word. It's a little template I've created. I attach a screenshot, and then I do a video breakdown where I talk through the trade. So I give myself three ways, right? The technicals, the visuals, and then the video explanation. And if you want to use this template, you can find one inside the trading docs. Any other questions here, team? Everyone happy here today? I kind of made it all about myself here, so sorry. All right, any other questions here? Let's go, Jerry. Love to hear that. Yeah, Hence the NQ sell off, Rico. Yeah, absolutely. Tesla almost hit your 306 on a 2 or 3 cents. Pretty much only Apple isn't getting crushed. Happy Canada Day to you as well, John. Let's go, man. Halfway to profit target. That's awesome. Congratulations and keep it up. Yeah, Doug, you get 14 days just full stop, right? So you're gonna get 2 weeks full stop. So it's just two weeks from the day that you joined your trial. That'll give you more than enough information to decide if you want to be a DTR member full time or not. So it's not 14 days of live stream access, it's 2 weeks total, right? So you'll get 10 days of stream access. All right, any other questions here, team? All right, final call here, team. Final call for questions. Wow, look at this though, 620. Holy Jesus. What a dump. All right, team. Well, same deal like always. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the afternoon. Enjoy your Canada days, and I'll see you all tomorrow for what should hopefully be a tremendous end to the week. So have yourselves a great day session. Yeah, go for it, Doug. Sounds good. See you tomorrow. Which candle? Like what time, Doug? What time? This one, you mean? So no, I would not consider this a fake out candle. Fake out would have to be above or below low of day, right? Or high of day. So I wouldn't call this a bearish fake out when high of day is all the way up here. I'd call this like low vol pullback or indecision or something along those lines. I wouldn't quite call that a fake out thesis. And then the other element, right, is your next or your most recent kind of strong confirmation candle would have been this 1040. So maybe if it went above 724, could have made that argument, but this isn't faking out anything here. So no, I wouldn't call this a bullish fake out. Anything else? All right, team. Well, have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day. Keep an eye out for the trade recap, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.